these two things that I've got that are current was what I wanted to share with you. And they were both almost exactly a year ago. They were about this time last year, um, end of February, 1st of March. And they were really close together, maybe a week, 2 weeks at the most apart. It could have been even less than a week, but they were, in my mind, they seemed almost back to back, not like within a day, but almost back to back. And the first one was, they were both the same type of thing, like what I would call like a flash vision. Sometimes I get these things, and it's not really often, but in fact, I think that was the last time I got these was last year, was like right as I was waking up. Usually, like when I get this, I'll see something, or I'll hear something, like words, or I'll see and hear something, some revelation or something, and then like I'll get understanding on it or something. But anyway, the first one, what right as I was waking up, I saw something, and it was like whatever I saw was really like good news. It was like really exciting. I was just like just shocked at what I had seen, and so excited, like my heart just jumped up and just like started racing. And I was so excited, like with what I was being shown. And then I heard the words, but not before Joshua's trumpet. And then I woke up like I was fully awake. Like it was like I was already awake, but it's kind of hard to explain. But anyway, I'm like awake, and I'm like, what was it? And I'm like so excited. I still have like this like super, my whole adrenaline is up. I'm like so pumped about what I just saw, but I can't remember what I just saw. And I'm like, what? Because I was like ready to like revel in it, dwell on it, think about it. I was like, the excitement was still there. And the words that I heard at the same time I saw it, I could clearly remember the words, but what I had just been shown was hidden. I'm like, you're kidding me. And that's happened before, like the Lord would give me something and I would know. I would know when I got it. I wasn't going to be allowed to remember it. And then it's like, I don't know what good that does. It's like it's in your spirit or something, or maybe it's for later. I don't know. But the interesting thing to me is that both of them happened simultaneously. I can remember exactly what was said while I was seeing whatever I was seeing, yet I can't remember that. And it's like, okay. So anyway, that happened. And my immediate thoughts were, the story of Joshua. And I'm like, okay, so I've never heard the term Joshua's trumpet before. Never even thought of it as Joshua's trumpet. So I read it and I'm like, okay, so Joshua is, the leader, and he gives the order to blow the trumpets. I'm like, okay, so it is Joshua's trumpet then, I guess, but how can something I'm being shown now that's really exciting not happen until after Joshua's trumpet? Because I've always thought of that story as history, and possibly like to learn from, just like the wilderness journey, we're supposed to look at what happened to them as our examples. um, some foreshadowing, a type of Christ, all those things come to mind, but not prophetic. It's like the only way this makes sense is if the story of Joshua has a prophetic nature, which I've never heard taught, never thought of myself, and like, but that's the only thing worse. And I'm utterly convinced this was from the Lord. So I'm like, then then that's prophetic. The book of Joshua is prophetic. So I start looking, and there are a couple of people who are like, oh yeah, Joshua's drama. I mean, the story of Joshua is totally prophetic. It has to do with, I think it's Revelations 8, or the book of Revelations and whatever. But only a couple of people. It wasn't really mainstream. And So I had to really dig. And it does have in Revelations, I think it's 8, a really strange similarity because, in the story of Joshua, the priest, the 7 priests, 7 trumpets of ram's horns, march around 7 times in the blow of the trumpet. Um, and then in the Revelations, it's 7 angels who have 7 trumpets to sound. Let's see. I saw the 7 angels which stood before God, and to them were given 7 trumpets. Another angel came and stood at the altar having a golden censer, and there was given unto him much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all the saints upon the golden altar which was before the throne. And the smoke of the incense which came with the prayers of the saints ascended up before God out of the angel's hand. And the angel took the censer and filled it with fire of the altar and cast it into the earth. And there were voices and thunderings and lightnings and earthquake. And the 7 angels which had the 7 trumpets prepared themselves to sound. So I think that's the one that they say is the parallel. This is the prophetic parallel, the best I can tell. I'm not a person of, much understanding of any of the prophecies and revelations. So anyway, I'm trying to understand, like, if this is prophetic, what's the deal? And I'm like, okay, there's 7 this, there's 7 that. These are the priests, and these were angels. And then I ran across another place where someone was not at all trying to do what I was trying to do. They were really just studying this book of Revelations. And they pointed out that these angels were performing priestly duties. They, this whole taking stuff from the altar and the prayers of the saints or whatever, that these were duties that were performed by a priest. And I'm like, okay, so there's another parallel, because it was the priest in Joshua, and here we see the angels performing a priestly duty. So in a sense, they're priests too, or I'm not sure about that. Going to leave that alone, leave that to you. But anyway, that was the first one that I got, and I felt like it was important. It was from the Lord, and it was prophetic, but I do not, I guess that's why we're a body, because we need each other to understand things or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, I wanted to share that. And then the very next one I had, which usually if I have 2 together like that, they're related. And there'll be some common thread in them, like telling the same thing a different way sometimes. I don't know if that's the case for this or whatever. But the next one I had that were like almost back to back was the same type of thing. Like sometimes I have an open vision, sometimes I have a dream, sometimes I just get a word, whatever. But these 2 were the same type of flash vision that I had upon waking, with a very similar experience. So in the second one, I'm waking up, and right as I'm waking up, I see like I have this, like I'm stepped into this visual, like I'm like standing inside this thing that I'm seeing, and I am inside a burnt out church. Like literally, I'm standing in the building of a burnt out church. The walls are charred, everything is charred, the pillars are charred, the wood is charred. It's completely gutted, burnt out, charred, black. It wasn't like a fresh, like it wasn't like still smoking or anything. It had stopped. The fire was stopped, and and I had, let me first tell the part about, and there was a woman standing in front of me, and I was under the impression that it was like she was angelic, and I don't know what makes me say that, because she didn't like have wings or anything. It was just kind of like, I just felt like she was from God. And so she's standing there and she has jewelry in her hand, like jewels, like a necklace, and she's placing them on something. But she's so close to me, just like you only can see me from, because I'm so close to the camera. I'm so close to her that I can't really see below like her waist, maybe not even that far. But I see her putting this jewelry down, and I'm like, this is like jewels. This is nice stuff that she's handling, and I can see like over her shoulder. I'm so close to her, kind of like you are to my wall. I could see more than you could see, but not a lot more. I could see that I'm in a church. I could see that it's charred over her shoulder, and I could see that she's putting this jewelry back, and it's this nice. Oh, and I just have a knowing that for some reason the church is sound, like the structure is sound. It's been gutted, burnt out, but it's sound. And now she's putting the jewelry back into the church. So those were the two things I saw back to back. And I don't have any reference to anything to understand, like, and I mean, I know it talks a lot about, things are done by fire, in the New Testament or whatever, but as far as just like prophecy goes, I don't know what that would be related to as far as the church being gutted out, burnt out, and then the jewels or the jewelry being put back in after that fire. So those are my two things, and they happened back to back almost exactly a year ago, and I felt like they were really important. And so there's that. Now,